Alexandra Eala just experienced a loss in Macau, but before you start worrying about her performance, let me explain why this defeat might actually be one of the best things that could happen to her career right now. Just 9 days after she made history by capturing the Philippines' first tennis gold medal in 26 years, the 20-year-old tennis sensation is back on the court competing at the MGM Macau Tennis Masters. She's not there to celebrate her recent victory or take things easy. Instead, she's there to fight and prove herself against some of the world's best players. On December 27th, Eala teamed up with her Chinese partner Jerry Shang to compete in mixed doubles. They faced a tough pairing of Spain's Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, who was ranked 13th in the world, and China's Wu Yibing. The match was incredibly close and went down to the wire. Eala and Shang lost with scores of 7-5, 7-6, and 1-7. The match was so tight that it had to be decided by a tiebreaker, and unfortunately, Fokina and Wu completely dominated that final tiebreaker, winning it 7-1. However, the loss in mixed doubles isn't really the main story here. What matters much more is what comes next in Eala's schedule. On December 28th, she faces off against Russia's Mirra Andreeva in a singles match. Andreeva is currently ranked as the world's number 9 player, which makes this an incredibly important and exciting matchup. This is the clash that tennis fans have been eagerly waiting to see, and it represents a huge opportunity for Eala to test herself against one of the sport's rising stars. The MGM Macau Tennis Masters is not your typical tennis tournament. Unlike most professional tennis events, this one doesn't award any ranking points to the players who compete. There's no prize money that affects career earnings, and the results don't have any impact on the WTA standings. In technical terms, this is what's known as pure exhibition tennis. But don't make the mistake of thinking that just because it's an exhibition, the competition isn't serious or meaningful. When you bring together elite athletes and put them in front of a packed crowd at the Macau Forum with team pride on the line, the competition becomes very real very quickly. These are professional athletes who have trained their entire lives to compete and win. Even without ranking points or prize money, their competitive instincts take over, and they want to perform at their best. The tournament format is structured as a team competition. Team Li Na faces off against Team Conchita Martinez. Both teams are captained by two absolute legends of the sport, who have won Grand Slam titles and helped shape modern tennis. Li Na is the Chinese icon who achieved glory at Roland Garros and Melbourne Park, winning the French Open and Australian Open. She leads a squad that features Eala, France's Ugo Humbert, and China's Jerry Shang. On the other side of the court, Spanish Wimbledon champion Conchita Martinez commands a team that includes Andreva, Fokina, and Wu. The original plan for Saturday's mixed doubles match was for Eala and Shang to play against Wu and Andreeva. However, Andreeva woke up feeling sick on Saturday morning, which forced the organizers to make a last-minute change to the lineup. Fokina stepped in to replace her, and this created a fascinating and challenging dynamic for Eala and Shang. Suddenly, instead of facing their originally scheduled opponents, Eala and the 19-year-old Shang found themselves up against an ATP top 15 player in Fokina, playing alongside Wu. The Spanish professional brought tremendous power to the court, along with years of experience competing at the highest levels of the sport and tour-hardened competitive instincts. This wasn't going to be an easy match by any stretch of the imagination. The first set played out as an intense battle of wills between the two pairs. Eala showcased the same aggressive baseline game that had earned her the Southeast Asian Games gold medal just days earlier. Shang held his own on the court, using his youth and impressive speed to cover every corner. They traded games back and forth with Fokina and Wu, with neither team able to establish clear control over the match. The breakthrough moment came late in the first set, when Fokina's vast experience at the professional level made the crucial difference. Team Martinez managed to take the set with a score of 7-5. It was close, it was competitive, and it proved beyond doubt that Eala and Shang absolutely belonged on the same court as these highly ranked opponents. They weren't overwhelmed or outclassed. They competed toe-to-toe with players who had much more experience at the highest levels. The second set escalated the tension even further. Both teams locked into a smooth rhythm, holding their service games point after point. The crowd gathered at the Macau Forum could sense that something special was building with each game. Every single point felt important and carried real weight for the overall team standings. Neither duo showed any signs of backing down or losing focus, and the set went all the way to a tiebreaker to decide the winner of the match. This tiebreaker is where the gap in professional experience became most apparent. Filipina and Wu executed their game plan perfectly under the intense pressure of the moment. They raced out to a commanding lead and won the tiebreaker convincingly with a score of 7-1, sealing the match victory. With this result, Team Conchita Martinez extended their lead in the overall competition to 4-1. Now, here's the important perspective on why that loss matters much less than you might initially think. Eala isn't measuring her success at this event by exhibition results alone. She has two clear reasons for being in Macau during the holiday season. First, she wants to stay sharp and maintain her competitive edge during what would normally be downtime. And second, and perhaps more importantly, she wants to prepare herself for the biggest challenge of her winter schedule, which is her upcoming match against Mirra Andreeva. Let's take a deeper look at who Andreva is and why this matchup is so significant. At just 18 years old, Andreva has already climbed to the world number 9 ranking. That's not a mistake or a typo. She genuinely sits among the top 10 players in the entire world at an incredibly young age. She reached the semifinals at both the French Open and Wimbledon during the 2024 season, announcing her arrival among tennis royalty in spectacular fashion. She possesses tremendous power in her shots, remarkable consistency in her play, and a fearlessness on the court that makes her dangerous against any opponent, regardless of their ranking or reputation. The Women's Tennis Association Tour has definitely taken notice of Andreeva's rapid rise. This isn't some promising young prospect who might become good in a few years. This is a current elite player who has already defeated top 10 opponents and reached the final stages of Grand Slam tournaments. She has proven herself on the biggest stages in tennis. What makes this matchup even more interesting is that Eala and Andreeva already know each other from their junior careers. Back in 2022 at the US Open Junior Tournament, they met in the quarterfinals. Eala completely demolished Andreeva with scores of 6-4 and 6-0, dominating the match on her way to becoming the first Filipina player ever to win a junior Grand Slam title. They even partnered together in doubles that same week, reaching the second round as a team before being eliminated. However, that match happened 3 years ago. Both players were teenagers competing in junior events at the time. Now, they're both full-fledged WTA professionals, and absolutely everything has changed since then. They've both matured physically, developed their games significantly, and gained invaluable experience competing against the world's best players week after week. This rematch carries significance that goes beyond simple bragging rights or settling an old score. For Eala, this match represents the perfect test before the 2026 season kicks into high gear. After the Macau event wraps up, she heads directly to Auckland, New Zealand for a WTA 250 event that starts on January 5th. Then comes the Australian Open, running from January 18th through February 1st. The Australian Open holds special significance because it's the only Grand Slam tournament where Eala hasn't competed yet in her professional career. Following her campaign in Melbourne, she returns to Abu Dhabi for the WTA 500 Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open scheduled from January 31st to February 7th. That particular tournament has witnessed her meteoric rise over the past year as she climbed from outside the top 150 all the way to a career-high world ranking of number 50. The tournament has become somewhat of a happy hunting ground for her. Facing Andreeva in Macau gives Eala absolutely everything she needs at this moment in her career development. It's live competition against a genuine top 10 player, which is exactly the level she aspires to reach consistently. It's a chance to test her game against elite power and spin, the kind of weapons that all top players possess.
It's an opportunity to gauge where she currently stands compared to the upper echelon of women's tennis and identify any gaps in her game that need work. Perhaps most importantly, because this is an exhibition match rather than a ranked tournament, she can play freely without the crushing pressure of ranking points or tournament survival hanging over every shot. She can experiment with tactics, try different approaches, and learn valuable lessons without risking her ranking or her seeding for upcoming events. This kind of pressure-free learning opportunity against a top opponent is incredibly valuable. The timing of this match couldn't be more perfect for Eala's development. She just ended a 26-year drought by winning Southeast Asian Games gold on December 18th, defeating Thailand's Mananchaya Sowangao with commanding scores of 6-1, 6-2 in Bangkok. That emotionally charged victory checked a major box for her career. She became the national champion, achieved regional supremacy, and accomplished something of generational significance for Philippine tennis. But true champions don't rest on their achievements. They use momentum from victories to attack the next mountain, the next challenge, the next level of success. For Eala, that mountain is breaking into the top 30 in the world rankings, winning WTA Tour titles at higher levels, and making deep runs at Grand Slam tournaments. Andreeva represents exactly the type of opponent she'll need to beat consistently to get there. The contrast between Saturday's match and Sunday's upcoming singles showdown couldn't be more dramatic. In mixed doubles, Eala was essentially the supporting player alongside Shang. They were facing opponents where the ATP professional held distinct advantages in power and experience. Sunday's match flips the script entirely. In singles, it's just Eala versus Andreva, one-on-one. There are no partners to rely on when things get tough. There's no one else to carry the load when you're having an off moment. It's pure one-on-one competition between two of the sport's brightest young stars. Both players come into this match with junior Grand Slam pedigree on their resumes. Both are climbing the professional rankings rapidly. Both are hungry to prove themselves and establish their place among the elite. Their 2022 junior quarterfinal tells us something important about Eala's capabilities. She has beaten Andreeva before, and she didn't just edge her out in a close match. She beat her convincingly and commandingly. That 6-0 second set wasn't a lucky break or a fluke. It was total domination. However, we must acknowledge that Andreeva has evolved dramatically as a player since that junior match. Her Grand Slam semi-final runs at the French Open and Wimbledon prove how much she's improved. Her world number 9 ranking confirms her development into an elite player. She's no longer the junior player who was dismantled 3 years ago. She has transformed into a legitimate threat to anyone in the top 10, which means Eala needs to have evolved just as dramatically to compete at this level. Based on Eala's 2025 season, the evidence suggests she absolutely has evolved and improved tremendously. She became the first Filipino player ever to win a Grand Slam main draw match, defeating world number 15 Clara Towson at the US Open. She won her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, Mexico. She reached the semifinals at the prestigious Miami Open, beating 3 former Grand Slam champions along the way. She climbed from 138th to 53rd in the world rankings in a single season, and she capped everything off by winning Southeast Asian Games gold. That's not incremental improvement or gradual development. That's complete transformation. That's a player who has taken massive leaps forward in every aspect of her game. Her serve has improved. Her ground strokes have become more powerful and consistent. Her movement on the court has gotten better. Her mental toughness has been tested and proven in big moments. She has shown she belongs at the highest levels of professional tennis. The Macau Forum will be absolutely electric for the singles match between Eala and Andreeva. Filipino fans have traveled all the way to Macau to support their champion and national hero. Chinese fans will be backing Andreeva, who has become a favorite throughout Asia with her exciting style of play. Russian supporters will be cheering loudly for their teenage sensation. The atmosphere will simulate tournament pressure even in an exhibition setting, creating an environment where both players will feel the weight of expectations. Both Eala and Andreeva will feel the desire to win burning inside them. They'll experience the competitive fire that makes them elite athletes in the first place. Neither will want to lose, exhibition or not. This is the kind of match where reputations are built and confidence is either strengthened or shaken. For Eala specifically, this match serves as an incredibly valuable diagnostic tool for her coaching team. They'll be able to assess how her serve holds up against a top 10 returner who has seen every type of serve imaginable. They can evaluate whether her ground strokes can genuinely match Andreeva's power shot for shot over the course of a full match. They'll see if her movement around the court is sufficient against an opponent who can dictate play and control rallies. The mental aspect will be tested as well. Can Eala handle the pressure of facing such a highly ranked opponent? Does she believe in her game enough to go for her shots in big moments? Will she remain calm and composed if things don't go her way early in the match? These are crucial questions that need answers before she heads to Auckland and Melbourne for tournaments that really matter for her ranking. Interestingly, the mixed doubles loss on Saturday actually helps prepare her for Sunday's challenge. Experiencing a loss, feeling the disappointment, and then having to immediately refocus for another important match is exactly what happens during a long Grand Slam tournament. Players need to learn how to process defeat quickly, learn from it, and move forward with confidence for their next match. This is a skill that separates good players from great ones. If you've been following Eala's incredible journey from promising junior to established professional, you know how special her story has been. If you want to stay updated on her matches, her results, and her continued rise through the rankings, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update about Alexandra Eala and other rising stars in tennis. We bring you the stories, the analysis, and the insights you won't find anywhere else. The exhibition format in Macau also allows Eala to work on specific aspects of her game without the fear of elimination. If she wants to try hitting her serve with more pace, she can do it. If she wants to be more aggressive on return games, she has the freedom to experiment. If she wants to come to the net more often or try different tactics, this is the perfect environment. The result matters for team pride and personal confidence, but it doesn't affect her livelihood or her career trajectory. Andreva will be facing similar considerations. She's also preparing for the Australian Open and the demanding 2026 season ahead. She'll want to test herself, work on weaknesses, and build confidence. This creates an interesting dynamic where both players have motivations beyond simply winning the match. They're both using this as preparation, as practice, and as a learning opportunity. The Philippines has been watching Eala's rise with tremendous pride and excitement. Tennis has never been this popular in the country, and she has inspired countless young Filipinos to pick up a racket and dream big. Her success has shown that players from the Philippines can compete at the highest levels of tennis. She has broken barriers and opened doors for future generations. As the match approaches, both players will go through their preparation routines. They'll study video of each other's recent matches, they'll work with their coaches on specific tactics and strategies, they'll visualize key moments and mentally prepare for the challenge ahead. This is the life of a professional tennis player, where preparation never stops and every match is an opportunity to improve. The tennis world will be watching this match with great interest. Scouts, coaches, other players, and media members will all be paying attention. How will these two young stars perform against each other? Will Eala show she can still beat Andreva like she did in juniors? Will Andreva prove she's on a different level now? The questions make this matchup compelling beyond the normal exhibition match. Win or lose, Eala's presence in Macau and her willingness to compete against the best players in the world speaks to her mindset and ambition. She's not afraid of challenges. She's not hiding from tough opponents. She is actively seeking out the best competition to prepare herself for the biggest goals of her career. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to follow Alexandra Eala's journey and get all the latest updates on her matches, training, and career highlights. Join our community of tennis fans who celebrate not just the wins, but the courage it takes to compete at this level. Hit subscribe now and be part of Eala's incredible story as she continues to make history for Philippine tennis.